June 22nd, 1969, London.
In a small house in Chelsea, a woman sat alone in the bathroom. The door was locked. The lights were on. But there was no sound. Hours passed, nobody checked. When morning came, her fifth husband, Mickey Deans, broke down the door and found Judy Garland on the toilet, motionless. She was 47 years old, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, the voice behind Over the Rainbow, the world's most beloved voice. But that morning, that voice fell silent. In a small bathroom in London, official cause: accidental barbiturate overdose. But the real truth was far darker, because Judy Garland never stopped for 47 years. Hollywood took her as a child, filled her with pills, kept her on stage, and eventually, Judy collapsed, because a person can only fake smile for so long, can only hide so much pain. Before we reveal how Hollywood destroyed its brightest star, hit subscribe for more shocking untold stories of legends who were used and broken by the system.
Judy Garland, born Frances Ethel Gum, came into the world on June 10, 1922 in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Her family worked in show business. Her mother Ethel was impatient and ambitious. Her father Frank owned a theater. Frances was on stage when she was only 2.5 years old, performing with her sisters. They called themselves the Gum Sisters. She was a tiny girl, but her voice was incredible, powerful, deep, soulful. Ethel was determined to make her daughter a star. She pushed Frances constantly. Sing better, smile more. Frances never got to be a child. She only worked. In 1935, when she was 13, the big break came. MGM Studios discovered her. Studio head Louis B. Mayer saw Frances and said, "This girl is special." But first they had to change something. Her name. Frances Gum wasn't glamorous enough. She became Judy Garland. And so Frances died. Judy was born. MGM took Judy into their machine, and that machine was designed to break people. In the 1930s, Hollywood studios controlled their actors completely. What they ate, what they wore, who they saw, everything. They did the same to Judy. She was 13 years old, but they put her on a diet. "You're too fat," they said. "You don't look good on camera." Judy was allowed 800 calories a day. She was constantly hungry. But the truly horrifying thing was the pills. MGM's shooting schedules were brutal. They started at 5 a.m. and went until 10 p.m. How was Judy supposed to keep up? How would she stay awake? Studio doctors gave her drugs, amphetamines. They called them pep pills. In the mornings they gave Judy pills. "This will keep you awake." In the evenings they gave her different pills. "This will help you sleep." Judy was 14 years old and already a drug addict, but MGM didn't care. To them, Judy was a machine part. As long as she worked, there was no problem. 1939 was the year that changed Judy's life. The Wizard of Oz.
Judy played Dorothy Gale, a little girl from Kansas who gets lost in the magical world of Oz. The role was perfect. Judy's voice, her performance, her innocence. When she sang Over the Rainbow, the whole world cried. The film became legendary. Judy Garland became an icon at 17. But in reality, Judy was deeply unhappy, because filming The Wizard of Oz was torture. They put Judy in a tight corset, bound her chest. "You need to look younger," they said. Judy was 16, but needed to look 12. The set was hot, the lights were scorching. Judy would faint, but filming never stopped. "Get up, Judy, keep going." And Judy kept going, because she had no other choice. Throughout the 1940s, Judy made film after film. Meet Me in St. Louis, The Harvey Girls, Easter Parade. All of them were successful. Judy was MGM's biggest star, but at the same time, she was their most troubled star. Drug use increased. She started drinking. She frequently didn't show up to filming. MGM would punish her. They'd cut her salary, humiliate her publicly. "Judy Garland is unreliable," they'd say, "undisciplined." But the truth was this: Judy was a sick child, and nobody was helping her. Because to MGM, Judy was an investment, and investments weren't supposed to get sick. In 1941, Judy made her first marriage to musician David Rose. She was 21, David was 31. MGM had arranged the marriage. It's good for your image, they said. But the marriage was a disaster. Judy got pregnant. MGM panicked. Pregnancy will end your career, they said. You need to have an abortion. Judy had the abortion, in tears. She lost her first baby. She divorced David in 1944. In 1945, Judy married director Vincente Minnelli. This time it seemed like real love. Minnelli understood Judy, or so she thought. He protected her. In 1946, their daughter Liza Minnelli was born. Judy seemed happy, but inside she was collapsing. Drug and alcohol use spiraled out of control. Her mental health deteriorated. In 1947, her first suicide attempt happened. She cut her throat, but she was saved. MGM covered up the incident. Judy is tired, they said. She needs rest. In 1948, she was supposed to return to filming for the Barclays of Broadway, but Judy couldn't make it. She was too ill. MGM removed her from the film, replaced her with Ginger Rogers. This was the beginning. Within a year, Judy was removed from 3 more films. MGM had finally lost patience. In 1950, they fired her. She was 28 years old. She had worked for MGM for 15 years, made dozens of films, but now she was unemployed. And Judy's real drama was just beginning, because Hollywood had abandoned her, but Judy still had to perform. In 1951, Judy attempted suicide again. This time she cut her wrists. Again she was saved, admitted to a psychiatric hospital. Vincente Minnelli couldn't take it anymore. In 1951, he filed for divorce.
Judy was alone. She had no money. MGM had exploited her, but left her with nothing. But then a ray of hope came. The stage. In 1951, Judy performed at the Palladium Theatre in London, her first solo concert. It was a tremendous success. The audience gave her a standing ovation. Judy is back, they said. After that night, Judy understood. Cinema didn't want her, but audiences did. And Judy kept performing, because she didn't know how to do anything else. In 1954, she married for the 3rd time to Sid Luft, a producer. Sid put Judy back in film. A Star is Born. Judy's performance was magnificent. She was nominated for an Oscar. Everyone said she's going to win, but she didn't. Grace Kelly won. Judy was devastated. They still don't want me, she said. The 1960s were a series of disasters for Judy. In 1961, she gave a concert at Carnegie Hall. It was a historic performance. A live album was released, won a Grammy. But Judy's health continued to deteriorate.
Pills, alcohol, liver damage. Her voice began to fade. In 1963, she divorced Sid Luft. The 4th marriage was over. In 1965, she had her own TV show on CBS, The Judy Garland Show. But the show failed. It was cancelled after 1 season. Judy was now considered has-been. In 1967, she married for the 5th time to Mickey Deans. Mickey was a discotheque manager, 12 years younger than Judy. The marriage was rushed. Judy was afraid of being alone, but Mickey couldn't help Judy. Nobody could anymore. In early 1969, Judy and Mickey moved to London. Judy was still trying to give concerts, but her voice was gone, her body exhausted. When she went on stage, she would forget lyrics, stop songs halfway through. Audiences felt pity, but Judy continued, because she needed money, and performing was the only thing she'd known for years. On the night of June 22, 1969, Judy couldn't sleep. Mickey Deans was asleep. Judy was alone. She went to the bathroom, took Seconal, a sleeping pill. She took a few pills, then a few more, sat on the toilet, waited for sleep, but sleep didn't come. When morning came, Mickey woke up, couldn't see Judy. The bathroom door was locked. He knocked, no answer. He broke down the door and found Judy, on the toilet, motionless, hands on her knees. Her eyes were closed. She wasn't breathing. He called an ambulance, but it was too late. Judy Garland was dead, at 47 years old. An autopsy was performed, barbiturate overdose. But was it an accident or suicide?
Nobody knows. Judy's body had years of accumulated damage. Her liver had failed, but the official statement remained accidental. Judy's funeral was held in New York. 22,000 people came. James Mason gave a speech. Judy Garland saw her talent as a gift, but others saw her as a commodity. Mickey Rooney cried. Liza Minnelli was shattered by the loss of her mother.
The world mourned, because everyone knew. Judy Garland should never have died at 47. She should have grown old, should have retired peacefully, should have been happy. But she never got that chance. Judy Garland lived 47 years, but she never rested. She had been performing since she was 2 years old. Hollywood took her, filled her with pills, kept her on stage, and eventually, Judy burned out. Maybe the most tragic part was this. When Judy sang Over the Rainbow as Dorothy, she was dreaming. Someday, over the rainbow, I'll truly be happy. But that day never came. Throughout her life, Judy Garland searched for the rainbow, but she only found storms. Years later, Liza Minnelli would say, "My mother gave everything to her audience, but nobody gave anything back to her." And that was the truth. Hollywood loved Judy's voice, loved her smile, loved what she could give them, but they never loved Judy herself.
They used her as a child, drugged her as a teenager, worked her until she broke, and when she finally fell, they walked away. Judy Garland died alone in a bathroom in London, far from Hollywood, far from the rainbow. But a voice lives on. Every time someone watches The Wizard of Oz, every time Over the Rainbow plays, we hear Judy, that little girl who just wanted to make people happy. And we remember, behind every beautiful performance is a person, a real human being. And Judy Garland was never allowed to be just that. She had to be Dorothy, had to be perfect, had to perform until she died. And that's exactly what she did.